Greetings internet, it's Monica, and today I am excited to be back with a new video all about book series. So I always had this impression of myself as having read and completed a lot of book series, and the other day I was just scrolling through my Goodreads and I had this realization that is not the case, or at least I haven't completed as many book series as I thought I had and as I would have liked to have. So I decided to sit down and make a list of book series that I have started and loved so far and that I really want to try and finish this year, or I mean at least if the final books are out this year. So I thought I'd share that list with you guys, talk about the series that I'm most excited to complete. I'd love to hear from all of you also what book series you've loved and completed or need to complete. Let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get started. So this video is also being sponsored by Inkyard in celebration of Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This is a fantasy trilogy that I am just absolutely obsessed with. I recently read the first book in this series and just fell in love with it. This story has always been pitched to me by friends as like an anime in book form, and I've never really known what that meant until I picked it up and read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is an anime in book form. So if you are familiar with anime and like the style of storytelling and those character tropes and things, I think you'll really enjoy and love this book. For me, the way the story is set up and the arc is done, it like feels like a whole season of an anime. It's so fun and adventurous, and I loved the characters so much. I think the characters were like my favorite part. It's also really cool just seeing all of the Japanese mythology being weaved throughout the story, so I just really loved that part of it also. So basically this story follows a girl named Yumiko who is a kitsune. She lives at a temple with a bunch of monks, and she's never really been able to go into the outside world, but she's very mischievous and she gets up to lots of hijinks at her temple. But one day her temple is attacked by demons who are seeking the, what is it called? The Scroll of 1,000 Prayers, and whoever holds the scroll is able to have one wish granted. And so her temple is attacked and she has to flee and go on a quest in order to deliver this scroll to another monk at another temple. On her way there, she ends up meeting a variety of people, including Tatsume, who is a samurai from the Shadow clan and is very shadowy and brooding, as one might expect. It's such a fun story. I love just seeing all of the adventures that they go on in this book and all the characters that they meet along the way. It's just such a fun ride, and again, the mythology is just amazing. I read it by both reading it physically and also via audiobook, and I loved both. The audiobook is really fun though because there are multiple narrators and they just do such a good job of doing all the voices, so I highly recommend that too. But I'm also really excited because the series has recently been completed. The second book is Soul of the Sword, and I love these covers, by the way. And then the final one, which just came out, is Night of the Dragon, and yeah, again, the covers are really pretty together. But I'm really excited that the series is completed. I've already gotten the other two audiobooks, so I'm really excited to finish up this series in probably the next week or so, because I am just obsessed with this story and these characters. So also on my list is the Three Dark Crowns series. The next book I have to read is Two Dark Reins. I think for me, I read the first two books and they kind of wrapped up pretty nicely, so I didn't feel a huge need to continue on, but I do want to know what happens to all of the queens. If you're not familiar, this book is set on a country where they have, I think, three queens, three dark crowns, so they have three queens and they have to battle to the death to see which one actually gets the throne, and they all have different powers. They come from different areas, so one's a poisoner, and so she's really adept at making poisons. And I loved this world because it was so interesting to read about a matriarchal society, and also I just loved all of the sort of politics and the relationships and just how things progressed in the story, especially that first one. I felt like had so many like mind-blowing moments at the end, so I do want to continue with it and finish it because I completely forgot that I hadn't and I need to do that. Then of course we have the Diviners series by Libba Bray. I don't want to wax on too much about this because I've talked about this book I think in almost every video that I've posted recently, so yeah, I'm really excited to finally pick up this final book in the series, but I have decided to give myself a little bit of time between doing that just because I've just reread all of them and I kind of just want like a moment so that I'm not going into this book with like too high of like expectations and all of that, because I think sometimes that can like ruin a reading experience. So yeah, I decided to just give myself a minute before diving back into this one, but I do still have to finish this one pretty soon because the Diviners Club book club thing that I'm doing with my friends Emma and Sarah needs to have our final live show about this book, so sooner rather than later, but I am giving myself maybe like 1 or 2 more books before I pick this one up. Next on my list is the Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwab. This is a series that I started and loved, but I never finished it, and then like the final book came out and it was so long since I read the initial couple of books, and then I was like, well, if I want to finish this, I have to reread everything, and I'm so bad at that. Like once I know I have to reread something in order to finish a series, it's highly unlikely that I'll finish it, and I'm really trying to get out of that mindset because it's just not a good mindset. I have to finish the series. I want to know how they end. I want to get all of the references that are on Twitter. My goal is to definitely reread the whole series and actually finish it, and I'm really excited to do that because I loved Lila and Kel and Alucard and Holland so much when I first read it. So basically this story, if you're not familiar with it, takes place in sort of like multiple universes. So there are parallel universes. So there are a few different Londons. There's our London, which is Grey London, and then you have Red London, which is like magical and beautiful and, you know, magic is real, and then White London, where like nothing, it's kind of like decrepit, all the magic has been sucked out of it. And then there's Black London, which is even worse, like no one goes there because horrible things happened. So Kel is from Red London and he travels between all of the Londons and basically causes an issue where magic starts going haywire in all the London. And he meets up with Lila, who is from Grey London, our London, and she just wants to be an adventurer. She wants to, you know, sail and just live a full life than what she is given, and I just love her character and I love all the characters, so I'm excited to continue that story. Hopefully soon I'll get to it. Yeah. Then I have a list of series that are not finished yet but that have books that I haven't read yet and that I need to just continue reading and that I love and I'm excited for, so hopefully you are too. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. The series starts with the Trials of Morrigan Crow. I've actually read the whole series that's out so far, but the 3rd book comes out very soon, so I wanted to put it on your radar in case it's not. It's a middle grade series. It follows Morrigan Crow, who lives in a town or in a world where basically she, because of when she was born, is blamed for all of the unlucky things that happen in her town. She's sort of seen as like this walking bad omen for everything, and she is supposed to die on her, I think, 11th birthday, but instead of dying she ends up getting saved and whisked away by a mysterious man who takes her to a new world filled with talking cats and just wondrous things, and she ends up having to go through trials in order to be part of the Wondrous Society, which is like a kind of secret society for people who just have like exceptional abilities. And this book is so whimsical and magical, and if you're looking for just something to escape into and have fun with, I highly, highly recommend this series. It's just everything to me. Then there's The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which I read the first book of, but I need to reread it in order to read the next book, which has come out, because honestly I kind of forgot a lot that happened. My issue is that the Poppy War is like pretty grim, and so getting myself to reread that, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle, but I do want to because I know it's so good. So I don't know. I gotta do it. Have any of you continued the Poppy War? Let me know your thoughts. Should I continue reading it? That's been my one hang up, is I'm like, I need to kind of reread the first book, or I could just read recaps of it and continue on to the second book. But yeah, I don't know. It was just so grim, but I really liked the characters. So yeah, let me know what you think. And then lastly, my big goal for like just my life, and at least this year, is to complete the Mistborn continuation from Brandon Sanderson. So I read the original Mistborn trilogy and absolutely loved it. One of my favorite book series of all time. I actually kind of really want to reread it, but I also need to do these new books, so we'll see what happens. He has continued the Mistborn world to basically be like a flintlock western kind of world. So the first trilogy takes place like in sort of a more typical like way in the past fantasy world, and then this next series that's out right now is basically in that sort of westerny early industrial revolution time period. And then I believe the next series is going to be like modern day urban fantasy, and then the final series is like sci-fi in space, but it's all in the same world, which I think is so cool. I just love Brandon Sanderson so much, so I really want to continue read this next group of books that are out, because he writes so fast that it's hard for me to keep up with. So I need to like get on that so that I actually read more of his work, because I love him as an author. He's definitely one of my faves. So yeah, those are the book series that I love, that I really want to finish, that I'm hoping to get to this year. I've kind of readjusted a lot of my like TBR goals and stuff this year because of just everything that's going on, and I kind of want to focus more on like fantasy and just books that I can like fall into. So that's what I'm doing. So I'd love to hear from you guys if there are series that you love and that you want to continue reading, or ones that you haven't finished yet. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!